Hello, and welcome to the channel. I'm Jeff the Narrator, and it's so good to have you here today. If you're returning to the channel, I'd thank you, and if this is your first time, please take some time to watch the channel introduction video as well to get a small preview into the content I plan on creating here. Today I thought we would take a second and dive into a question I wish I would have asked many years ago. What exactly is a tabletop role-playing game? Because for years, before I picked up this hobby, I wrote it off because I didn't ask the right questions, and, if I'm being honest, I never thought to actually ask any questions, and so I stayed ignorant. So, what is a tabletop role-playing game? The short answer is, well, short. It's a social event in which friends and family can come together with snacks or a meal to create fictional characters and simulate adventures or events without the use of anything other than their imagination, some pens, some paper, a small handful of dice, and some people even use miniature figurines. The long answer, well, you might want to buckle in. In my humble opinion, a tabletop RPG, or TTRPG, is the original RPG, role-playing game. And as a personal fan of the Elder Scrolls series and several other video game RPGs, this was a tough pill to swallow. Of course, I'd heard of the glory days of Arena and Daggerfall, the isometric views of Fallout 1 and 2, but never did I really connect the dots that in the early days, most video game RPGs were taking formula from tabletops, behind-the-scene dice rolling to make a paperless and visually appealing take on what had inspired them. The tabletop. Escapism in its finest form, in my opinion, and a fantastic group setting, the nights we've spent laughing and cheering have been as heartwarming and exhilarating as a summer blockbuster. I'm sure I'll end up sharing some of these stories with you all, but for now, we'll keep to the point. Become someone else, with a life path as similar or as different as you like, in a new world you've never experienced, a new time that you've never lived in, or in a fictional universe you've loved for years. So you've decided to play or begin an RPG group. What all goes into it? Well, you'll need a venue, or, in the case of the world today, maybe a virtual venue, a tabletop, some pen, some paper. Don't forget the correct type of dice for your system. More than likely, way too many books or PDFs. Next, you'll need the lifeblood of the group, which, surprise, it's the people. One game master, referred to as a GM usually, and 1 to usually 6 players, but every group is different, and you may have even more than 6. However, just starting out as a GM, it can cause problems with giving everyone the same amount of exposure and chances to react and, well, act as they wish. Now you've got your materials, you've got your people, and hopefully your venue. Now it's time to buckle down and accept the headspace. GMs, I'll start with you. Rule number 1. This is about fun. Your fun and their fun. Both can and should be a priority. Spoiler alert, players. Rule 1 is also the same for you. Of course, as the players, your fun should be top tier importance. But remember, the GM also needs to be having fun, so they will want to keep crafting and running these sessions for you and your fellow players. Rule 2. Unless expressly stated from your GM, it is not a contest between you, the GM, and your players. It's a story. Empower your players, and players, please adhere to the setting and style of the story trying to be told. There is time to mold it. There's time to adapt it. But if you work together in spite of the adversity that the GM sets against you, I know the experience will be very rewarding for both parties. Obviously, there's so much more to the process than this, and your method will vary with the system you're running, but this is the baseline of the entire concept. Spend some time with your friends. Eat some good food. Tell some crazy stories. Players, break free within the rules of the game, and GMs, weave your web of storytelling. Flex the imagination in your mind and be prepared for a rewarding experience. And boy, is it a time killer. I've blinked and my own personal group has burned through 3 hours. Sore rear ends from sitting and sore sides from laughing included. Thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you'll be back. This has been Jeff the Narrator, and please keep telling stories.